Going to call to order the regular meeting of the Lenox Township Board of Trustees, Monday, February 2nd, 2026, at 6:32 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Approval of meeting agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Trustee Rosile. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Moving on to approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of January 12, 2026.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Sutherland, supported by Trustee Marino. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Public announcements. Okay. I know there's been some social media rumors around a data center. There is an item on the agenda for a moratorium on data centers. At this time, there have been no data centers presented to the township or any plans for one. So there are none that we are aware of at this time. Also, I'm sure some of you are here about the landfill. That is being handled by the county. There is a public hearing for it at the county administration building, February 18th at 9 a.m. And from that, we'll move on to public comment. I will say there is a 3-minute limit. If you would like to, go up to the microphone. Please state your name and address.
Linda Rossio, 25589 26 Mile Road. First of all, I'd like to thank you all very much for your kind words and thoughts and prayers for the death of my mother. It was greatly appreciated. I spoke to Chantal LaForest and Lee Belinsky on November 3rd, 2025 at the trustee meeting about the future growth of Pine Tree Acres. They thought at the time the actual garbage hill would grow another 40 feet, and they were unsure of the longevity of the site. Also, if I had any more questions, Chantel gave me her business card. I never called her. At the November 25th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting, Lee Belinsky approached me with his boss, Travis. I don't remember his last name. They said the site would not be getting much taller, but the garbage hill would be increasing another 150 acres. But they still were within the 527 acres that Waste Management had owned at the time. Last week, while watching Channel 7 News, there was a story about Pine Tree Acres expanding 235 plus acres, and how the deputy executive from Macomb County, John Paul Rhea, said there would be a 90-day public comment period for residents to voice their opinions. I later read that this period was October 16, 2025 through January 14, 2026. This was a community-driven conversation that would be making this ruling on the expansion of Pine Tree Acres. Then I found out that there was a public hearing, and another one is going to be February 18th. Mr. Reeder stated at the last Planning Commission meeting that he was a member of the Solid Waste Planning Committee, if I have that correct, but never said anything about the 90-day public comment phase and these public hearings until tonight. In all the months prior to tonight, the Pine Tree Acres has been brought up by myself regarding the master plan and how the potential expansion of the landfill could affect the master plan. You have sat back and have said nothing, knowing that a meeting regarding the expansion had already taken place and at least one more is coming up. Why are you hiding this information from the residents until tonight, whom you represent and are supposed to keep informed? 2/3 of the local communities are needed to vote in favor for this expansion for it to go forward. Of course, it'll pass. They don't want a landfill in their neighborhood. Are you asking for anything in return? For example, having Waste Management pick up garbage on Gratiot from 26 to 32 Mile Road, putting a traffic signal at 29 Mile Road in Gratiot with a no turn on red from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.? Mr. Reader, you told me before the county told you people would have to die before a light would be installed. Put your foot down. Increasing their tip fees to at least the average of the 13 states Channel 7 showed them on their broadcast in Canada. So Michigan wouldn't be so attractive to dump trash in. Also, Governor Whitmer keeps talking about fixing the damn roads. Well, there would be less truck
Time's up.
traffic if there were less truck traffic.
Public comments? Snoopy, press button, Dennis.
Dennis Haig, 3940 County Line. And a segue, following after that information, the master plan notes never reflected any of this increase in the dump. I think that's a pretty important thing for our master plan for our area. One of the things in the master plan that really caught my eye after going through it was the decrease in home values in the Lenox Township area. Our homes are worth a lot less based upon that master plan and upon what Macomb County put out because of the dump. So we're getting all this money coming in from the dump, kind of looking at that going, okay, what are we doing for our community out here? How about we take some of the dump money and maybe reduce our taxes? Might be a really good idea because that dump's not going away for 30 plus years. And a master plan also ought to have what we're going to do with the dump after it closes. Now it can be, a little broad brushed on that, but that should be well laid out. And that property all around it, nobody wants to build there, but you should use it as an industrial area. Get some tax dollars coming in and reduce the taxes that the residents are paying.
Public comment?
Grace Eisen, 68111 Township Road. In the mail with our tax bills, we received this lovely landfill flyer about pollinator gardens, etc. Not a word on it about an expansion. My question is, how did it come to be in our tax bill? Who paid for it? Who paid for the postage? And our other for-profit and nonprofit businesses being given the opportunity to present their propaganda in our tax bills. Thank you. Answer my questions, please, during your meeting.
Public comment? All right, moving on to public hearing for the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Funds. I will make a motion to open the public hearing at 6:41 p.m.
I'll second.
I have a motion by the chair, supported by trustee Rosio. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Reader,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Marino.
Aye.
All right, summary, Mr. Grabo.
All right, good evening, board. As usual, and to the residents and the board of trustees, this is a required public hearing notice that's given out. We did notice this out last meeting. This is for a request of the CDBG funds to be distributed throughout the operations after any requests have been allocated back into our facility. This evening, we've checked again, verifying that no one on the board had received any road request that had not come through the process as required. This year, Lenox Township will receive approximately $1,900 in community development Development Block Grant Funds, which will be available for public funding. At this point in time, based upon the recommendations and the requirements that we have received, we're requesting that the board authorize Interfaith to receive $180 out of that 190, or I'm sorry, correct it. Interfaith caregivers should receive $180 out of the $1,900 that was received, with the remaining balance going to the Lenox Township Senior Citizens Community Center. With that, I'll take any questions, comments, or return to the board for closing of the public hearing.
All right, public comment on the public hearing? Going once. All right, moving on, close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing at 6:39.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Trustee Rosio. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll at 6:43.
Sorry, who supported?
Rosie.
Rosio.
Gurley,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Sutherland.
Aye.
All right, moving down to discussion. Is there any discussion on the items? Hearing none, we'll move on. All right. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items listed under this consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Board and will be enacted by one motion. According to established Township meeting rules, there will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the board or public so requests at the regular meeting, in which event the chair of the meeting may remove such items from the consent agenda for discussion and consideration under agenda item number 8 below. Approval of the consent agenda shall be a majority roll call vote, those present and voting.
With that, the orders and bills for the month of January were in the amount of $87,518.07.
I'll make a motion to approve the orders and bills in the amount of $87,518.07.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Sutherland, supported by Trustee Rosio. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Marino.
Aye.
All right. Moving down to new business, item A, 2026 Development Block Grant Fund, CPG recommendation. All right, so 180 to Interfaith. The remaining total would be $1,720 to the seniors. I will make that my motion.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by the chair, supported by Treasurer Sutherland. Will the Deputy Clerk please call the roll?
Reader,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
All right, moving down to item B, Waste Management Waste and Recycling Contract Proposal. I believe we have a representative from WM, Chantel.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. We recently presented an extension proposal for 5 years to Supervisor Reader and Deputy Supervisor Crabo. That would entail collection to be relatively similar to what it is now. What we are proposing as changes would be transitioning to the contents of the cart only. I know most folks are already utilizing the carts. The carts have been in the community for quite some time. So we would be asking that whatever folks set out can fit inside the cart with the lid down. Bulk items would remain at 1 item per week for folks. The only change there would be that we're asking them to pre-schedule it. They can do that online or via our live chat or by calling the call center. And of course, if anyone has questions about the proposal, I'm sure you all saw it, but if you have questions, fire away.
Just for the sake of everybody that's here, who would they contact if they don't have a dumpster?
Yeah, if they don't have a cart, we are actually going to be taking care of that internally. So we are doing an audit to conduct and see which homes do not currently utilize the WM cart. That's how we would determine who was going to be receiving a cart at their home. However, if they do have a cart that's worse for wear, or maybe it's got a cracked lid, a wonky wheel, they would be able to contact WM and we would make sure that they were included as part of that deployment.
Are these containers larger than what we have at the present time?
No, sir?
Same size?
Yes, sir.
Do you know when you're going to go into the one-man trucks? Any idea of that?
So we've already started that transition. This would help us solidify that transition. So we are starting to deploy the automated side load trucks out of our Port Huron hauling site, which is what services your community. We have rolled that out for, I believe, most of recycling. There would, however, still be rear load trucks utilized for yard waste. I know we don't have yard waste collection here, but you may see it depending on, I know you see a lot of trash trucks through the community. Similarly with bulk items, bulk needs to be handled differently, so we would have a separate vehicle for that. But this would allow us to transition the trash collection to the one-person automated side load.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Yes, there were some questions on the cleanup of Gratiot Avenue and the trash from the trucks that come by. I know Waste Management does take care of some of it sometimes.
Yes.
Are they intending on expanding that any?
So I know, and I apologize because I'm not entirely familiar with where the boundaries for the township start and stop. I do believe that there's a little bit that goes beyond. But Lee, who is the district manager at Pine Tree Acres, works very closely with Supervisor Reeder, with Deputy Supervisor Graybo, and generally, if we receive any sort of notice that it's starting to look icky, at the end of the day, we send somebody out there to make sure that it gets cleaned up, whether it comes from our trucks or another hauler's trucks. It's your community. We're a guest here, and we want to keep it clean.
Thank you.
Of course.
There was one other question that you had that I thought was...
Left-hand turn lane and a light.
I can clarify the light on 29 in Gratiot. Myself and former trustee Clifford worked with MDOT, who has jurisdiction over the intersection. We tried to work with them to get a traffic study out here for a turn signal, and MDOT basically told us there was not enough traffic at the intersection to garner a traffic study.
Would it do any good if we added more pressure to them and made more phone calls?
We've utilized our representatives at the state level. We even talked to people in the governor's office. They will not budge.
Good
Okay,
deal.
what about the left-hand turn?
There you go.
Again, they do not want to add anything that would impede the travel on Gratiot.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Those trucks don't
there was a
impede
study
our travel.
determined-
Ladies and gentlemen, please, this is the board's time. Once again, we've stated MDOT has control of that intersection. We've tried to go with them. We've worked with our state representative, our state senator, and the governor's office. MDOT does not want to budge.
If they don't want to put a stop signal or a signal there,
I even suggested a yellow turns.
or a
yellow
stop
light.
sign,
Yeah.
an actual stop sign where all four corners stop.
I've suggested that. They do not want to stop this north and southbound traffic.
Is that because everybody's traveling like at 70 miles an hour?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Except when they pull out in front of you.
I think we should make some more phone calls into this because it is a very dangerous intersection. I don't like what they did with that bypass on the right.
No, I don't like it either.
I mean, and then instead of putting a line that actually looks like should cross it, they put in a solid line, which you're not supposed to cross. So if you do get in an accident there, it's a flip of the coin as to whose fault it is. So I think we should, possibly put more pressure on the county.
The county has no jurisdiction over the intersection. That is, yeah, Gratiot is a state highway. It purely rests with the bureaucrats at MDOT.
Okay, then we need to put pressure there.
Correct.
Correct. I mean, we do need to do something because it's not a good situation there.
I agree, but the problem is if MDOT refuses to budge, we've engaged our state senator, we've engaged our state representative, we even engaged the governor's office. There's not much we can do other than to continue the bug.
Sometimes squeaky wheel gets the oil. So, yeah, maybe this needs to come down to a point where we need to call them once a month, call them once a week, do whatever it takes to get some clarification as to what they're going to do on this intersection.
Can you give a report as to the number of accidents that are occurred?
Yeah, that data is available publicly through Southeast Michigan.
I don't see where 27 mile road has any more traffic than 29 mile road does. In fact, I think 29 mile road has more traffic.
Oh, I'm sure.
27 does have a lane. So obviously they thought that 27 mile road had enough.
27, I think, is in the village, so that maybe that's a difference. I don't know.
Okay, it'd be in the village. How did they get it?
I don't know.
That
They
light's been
ignore
there for
they
a
ignore the
long
village
time, too.
also.
That light's been there before the lane goes.
I know, it's been there for a long time.
And I'm sure, like, I know people in New Haven have been fighting 26 and New Haven Road at the state level
Yeah.
to get turn lights, everything there, because there's so many accidents and so many deaths at that intersection. And they have fought that at the state level with governors and everything else, and they basically said, there's nothing in our budget to help you put anything on the 26 in New Haven.
But we had to go with New Haven to Lisa McLean's office to try and get it before Congress for funding. And even that didn't go through. But, moving on, this is about the trash contract, not the landfill.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve the waste management, waste and recycling contract beginning July 1st, 2026 and conclude July 30th, 2030. The cost will be $21.01 per unit per month for the first year. It will increase by 4% each year.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion by Treasurer Sutherland, supported by Trustee Rosio. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Sutherland.
Aye.
Rossio.
Aye.
Marino.
Aye.
Reader.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Board.
All right, moving down to item C, Great Lakes Water Authority repayment agreement proposal, Mr. Trombley.
Yes, good evening. So what I have in front of you is what I received back from Waste Management in regards to a claim that I had made. You may be aware last July, they experienced a water main break down in Chesterfield along Gratiot. That line that broke was our sole supply for our township. A lot of collaboration and work by all the communities and workers to reroute, keep us in water during that repair effort. Even with significant planning and so forth, when the system was brought back online, we experienced a water main break that correlated with that repressurization of our system. Thus, I submitted the claim to GLWA for the repairs that we had to do and the water loss that we also experienced. So part of their process, which is built into their contract that we have with them, I submitted the claim, they reviewed it, they've accepted it. They're willing to basically cover our costs that we endured for this. Part part of that is basically creating a resolution and signing this, relieving them of any further damages or claims on that incident. So basically, we would get back $6,509.77, which we had to pay out to repair our water loss.
And Brian, you're the one in Al's office that looked at this?
I have a little bit, yeah.
Microphone.
Yeah, I looked at the agreement. It looked like it was appropriate and ready to go.
Is there any further discussion from the board on this item? If there is no discussion, a motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to
Turn the mic
I'll make a motion to accept the settlement release agreement between Lenox Township and Great Lakes Water Authority settling the cost of the water main break that occurred on July 16th, 2025, as recommended by DPW Supervisor Cam Trombley.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Sutherland, supported by Clerk Gurley. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Gurley?
Aye.
Rossio?
Aye.
Marino?
Aye.
Reader?
Aye. All right, moving down to item D, Macomb County Agricultural Purchase of Development Rights Committee request. Madam Clerk.
At our last meeting, the Macomb County Agricultural Purchase of Development Rights, the PDR committee, came and asked us, what they do is they, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's here.
Yeah, John's here.
Okay. They preserve farms. So they're asking us for a commitment for the next year, for the fiscal year, a pledge of $500 to enable the committee to continue to support preserving farms and properties. And just on the 30th, they had a farm in Richmond. Is that right, John? That we, because of the pledges from other communities, were able to save that farm and keep it preserved. So they're asking for a donation of $500 for the upcoming year.
I can add to that, the 6 northern townships in the county are members of that, being Armada, Bruce, Ray, Washington, Richmond, and Lenox. So we're one of 6 of the townships that partake in this venture.
All right, if there's no further discussion, I will make a motion to approve the $500 commitment to the Macomb County Purchase of Development Rights Committee for the coming fiscal year to continue the support of preserving farmland properties.
I second that.
I have a motion by the chair, seconded by Treasurer Sutherland. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Reader?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Marino?
Aye.
Rossio?
Aye.
Gurley?
Aye.
All right, moving down to item E, data center moratorium resolution. Before you, you have a resolution establishing a temporary moratorium on any acceptance of any data center proposals or any filing. This was done in abundance of caution. As I said previously, you're not aware of any proposals that have been submitted to the township. And today we are seeking approval of resolution 2026-3.
The only thing that I would like to see in this, and I think the moratorium is a good idea for us to be able to research it, but we're putting a 4-month moratorium on there, and I would like to see like a 30-day synopsis at every meeting. In other words, I don't want this to go 4 months and nothing get done on it, and then we have to ask for another 4 months.
Well, before it comes to the board, it's going to go to the planning commission. They are going to be engaging with the draft ordinance and start crafting it. It's going to be a zoning ordinance. It goes to the planning commission first, then it comes to the board. So we can give proper supports.
That would be nice. We would definitely want to hear, that.
At this time, does a new master plan provide an area in the township for this?
Technically, yes, they would fit within the light industrial or heavy industrial use. But are they named specifically? No. That's why we are working with, proposing this moratorium, get a zoning ordinance on the books, that way they are mentioned specifically.
Who would organize the committee to research this? Would that come from the trustees or the planning commission?
It would start with the planning commission. They have the power to organize any subordinate committees of their own members.
Supervisor, if the 4 months isn't long enough for us to get ordinances and zoning and stuff in place, can this be changed and added more time?
Yep, there is a provision in there allowing for the board to extend it another 4 months.
Okay.
Is this going to be on the next planning commission?
No, this resolution will go into effect immediately, but we will start having the planning commission working on it at the next planning commission. If there's no separate discussion, a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion that we accept the 4-month moratorium on data centers. I would like a 30-day progress report put in that. And that would be all.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion by trustee Marino, supported by trustee Rosio. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Marino,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to item F, Township Employee Health Care Proposal. Ms. Meadows.
I'm going to speak over here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Mary Meadows, and I serve as Head of Human Resources for the Charter Township of Lenox. Over the past year, I've focused heavily on improving employee longevity and organizational stability. One of my most influential factors in attracting and retaining quality employees is the strength of our benefit package, not only for the employee, but for their families as well. As you know, the 24-25 insurance plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield was structured as an 80-20 split, with the township covering 80% and employees covering 20%. Life insurance coverage ranged from $5,000 to $10,000 depending on your job title, and firefighters received no life insurance coverage at all. The total for the township's monthly cost was $13,070. Before we move forward, I just want to be transparent. I don't take the medical insurance, so I have no personal stake in this outcome. My recommendations are based solely on what I believe. In your packet, you're going to find 3 different options. Option 1 is the same coverage as this year. So it'd be the 80-20 split, but the life insurance would jump up to $25,000 for all employees, including the firefighters, 100% dental and optical, and a $350 stipend. Due to our larger group plan, actually the results is a savings of $361.39. Option 2 is a 90-10 employee split, but family members would pay 80-20. The $25,000 life insurance for all employees and firefighters, 100% dental and optical, and a $375 stipend. And then my option 3 was 100% township paid medical coverage, but the family members would still do the 80-20. the $25,000 life insurance for all, 100% dental and optical, and a $400 stipend. The Human Resource Department recommends a combination of option 3 and option 2. The employees with 20 years or more and board members would be offered option 3, whereas employees that are under 20 years would be offered option 2. It'd be kind of like a step-up program to reward longevity. The total cost they figured out for everyone that is benefiting for it right now would be $840.45 more. If you divide that by the 40 people who are benefiting from this, it comes to $21 per person per month. Cost could fluctuate as staffing levels do change. This plan can also be integrated into our broader benefit package that we offer employees for the year. At this time, I'm happy to address any questions the board may have.
I had a question. This is for full-time employees only, Mary?
Yes. Yep, just full-time employees.
Thank you.
And Mary, if I'm not mistaken, the 25,000 life insurance, that's for the firefighters and employees, they can add to it themselves if they want to increase to up to 100,000 on their own.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
And
the township will have no part of that, but yeah,
Right, they do it on their own.
employees have an option if they want to add more, yes.
And the firefighters have never had a life
No.
insurance policy with us at all.
Nothing.
Like for the firefighter, is there a probation period before it starts, or 90 days, or does it start the day they're hired? Any idea?
Yeah, there is a township policy for a 90-day probationary period where they do not receive health insurance or the benefits associated with that job.
After the 90 days.
Correct.
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, I will make a motion to accept the Human Resources Department recommendation with a combination of option 3 and option 2. Is there support to the motion?
I second that.
I have a motion by the chair, supported by Treasurer Sutherland. May the deputy clerk please call the roll?
Reader,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Rossio.
Aye.
All right, moving down to item G, DPW Superintendent Additional Certification Salary Proposal. Mrs. Bravo.
Good evening, board. First off, as a deputy supervisor, I want to thank you for looking at our employee staffing, our retention, and setting forth one of the most important things is recommending our firefighters and first responders. I think that was a great thing, looking at them, their families, and putting together the package that the HR department has done. So thank you very much. With that, I'm going to move into request for this evening. Our DPW supervisor, Tim Tromley, has went through and been certified now to an S2 classification. I'm not sure how many people understand, but there's a classification that starts out at the lower end, like an S6, an S5, S4. The higher you get, the lower the number becomes. Historically, we have always transferred that into a rate per hour change. Mr. Tromley recently passed his S2 certifications. Mr. Tromley is responsible for the drinking water, the contaminations, and the preservation of those items for our community. This evening, I would like to bring that forward and move the range from his current position to increase at a 150 per hour increase based on the certification and the passing of the S2. retroactive to the date of certification, this would be about 30 days ago he passed us, or 45 actually, if I look at the dates on this. But historically, we have done this throughout the township's timeframes. Each time, we've increased the DPW supervisor's rate. He is more responsible and required to be under those testing standards for the state of Michigan. That I'll bring it back to the board for any questions or comments.
How often do we test our drinking water in Lenox Township?
Mr. Trombley can answer that directly, but I can tell you that we get certifications constantly through him and I, and we get all the notifications. Mr. Trombley?
So currently, there's multiple tests that are done every month for back T, chlorine residual, but then there's also a quarterly test that we do for disinfected byproducts. All these are mandated through the state, and they're done on a routine basis, as well as reported in our annual report.
Mandated through the state, done routinely, quarterly, and monthly.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to approve the increase of $1.50 per hour to the DPW Superintendent, Cam Trombley, as he has recently passed a drinking water certification exam as recommended.
Second that.
I have a motion by the chair, supported by Trustee Rosio. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Reader,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Marino.
Aye.
All right, moving on to item G. No, wait, item H. Lenox Township Building Official Letter of Resignation Acceptance Request, Mr. Grabo.
Good evening, board. This evening, I'm in front of you. A few months ago, we had asked for a few variations due to issues with our building department officials, some medical items, and some changes in operations. This evening, I am in front of you asking that as of Thursday, January 23rd, Dennis Lemieux, our building official for the last 10 years, has decided to retire his resignation, or deliver his resignation effective immediately. Dennis has served with the township more than 10 years, and his dedication and knowledge and commitment has been a tremendous asset throughout the time that he's been with us. We do want to extend our sincere appreciation for his years of service and wish him the very best in his future endeavors. It is the recommendation of the supervisor's office and the HR department to accept this resignation with the board of trustees approval. And I'll bring it back for any questions or comments.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Dennis Lemieux as of January 23rd, 2026.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Sutherland, supported by Clerk Gurley. May the deputy clerk please call the roll.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Rossio.
Aye.
All right, moving down to item I, Lenox Township Building Official Formal Letter Request, Mr. Grabo.
All right, board, in following up, of course, the resignation of Mr. Lemieux, we now have a position that we must fulfill. We have a current person in that position. Kurt Stenstock was a building official that we came in front of the board and approved under your request back in late October. We're asking that we allow Mr. Stenstock to become the Lenox Township building official, mirroring the exact same one-year contract previously held by the former building inspector official, Dennis Lemieux. Kurt brings significant experience to the role and will be an asset to Lenox Township. He has been assisting the department over the past several months and consistently moves forward and exceeds our expectations. With that, I'll bring it back for any questions or comments.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Under insurance, it says medical insurance is negotiable by a stipulation during the agreement process. I believe this is a part-time position, so will he get insurance through the township, paid through the township?
That is a negotiated item. Under state law, he must be considered an employee. We do have contractual requirements. That is an item that has to be finalized as a required item.
Well, if we had cleared somebody already back in December, I believe is when him and the supervisor signed. I
This-
think we know at this point we were giving him insurance.
He was a backup part-time. He wasn't receiving insurance at that time.
Right, he was only fulfilling Mr. Lemieux's spot at that time. If the board approves this evening, we will then go back to negotiate that item.
This is moving him up to the full-time building official.
But it says 16 hours a week in the one spot I read, Monday through Thursday, 4 hours a day. So is that considered full-time?
Mr. Grable?
No, that is a contractual requirement, but we have to recognize that that official as an employee does not have to be full-time. Mr. Lemieux was a part-time, and that's the way the contract was written. If you look at the contract, the hours and the wages don't even come close to a full-time building official's wages. They are virtually a fraction of a full-time building official.
And this is only his current contract. This is not the one he would be utilizing for full-time. Not the one that's signed in the packet. It would be a different new blank contract.
So will that be presented next month or? what?
That is correct, Mr. Resio. Once we've concluded the negotiations, we will bring it back to the board for final approval. At this point in time, we're asking for approval to move forward and negotiate with Mr. Stenstock and make him our building official.
The previous building inspector, Dennis, I know, drove his vehicle some of the time, or maybe all the time. Is that how this will be, or do we furnish a
So
township?
Dennis sometimes drove his truck, but he had a township vehicle available to him at all times. It was his personal choice to drive his personal vehicle.
I think he only drove his personal vehicle when he was on his way home, and he would stop at the inspection on the way home to Armada.
I know he had his personal vehicle when the accident occurred, so.
We,
From insurance wise,
Mr. Resio, just to set clarity here, while they're on duty working for the township, liability-wise, we recommend and highly require that they utilize township equipment so that there is no crisscross of liability. So while they're on duty and going out and doing inspections, it's highly recommended that they utilize and required to utilize township equipment.
should we be making that mandatory?
That is part of the contract that we're gonna be able to negotiate. I'll take that into consideration. Mr. Lemieux, prior, there was, a whole different set of processes that was going on, and it came to light is when we had become to an employee status. Under that prior contract, they were subcontractors that could in fact utilize their personal vehicle. That has since changed on the liability requirements.
And that's what I'm looking at, is liability.
Correct. We'll make sure that's clarified and directed in the new contract.
Thank you.
Are all of our inspectors employees?
No, just the building official.
No, sir.
They are subcontracted.
Okay. Why is that?
State law requires that the building official is an employee. That is very clear in MTA and the requirements. That was verified through our legal department and clarified. Now, the rest of the inspectors, whether they be plumbing, mechanical, electrical, those can be in fact contractual items that we put in forth. But a building official must be classified as an employee.
I mean, I'm just wondering, shouldn't all our inspectors be employees? I mean, it would
We went through
help with
this.
the liability and it would help with the understanding.
I understand your questions, but we went through this process extensively with legal, not even a year and a half, 2 years ago. and clarified all of these clarifications, requirements, and contractual items. So we went through this and cleared this very, very systematically to make sure. We cannot support, at this point in time, full-time employees for plumbing, mechanical, electrical, based upon the building specs and the requirements. So contractually, there are requirements in each one of their contracts that require insurance and indemnification, along with liability insurance that they're required to carry.
And do we know what that coverage is? I mean, are they covering?
Yes, we've had each one, all of these contracts were written and reviewed by our legal teams prior to being approved.
They're also required to file a copy of that insurance with us, so we are aware that they do have that.
That's what my question was. Okay, thank you.
That all transpired before you and I were
Yeah.
on board.
Or me.
Or, oh, sorry.
Me and Michelle were on the board still.
Is Mr. Senstock here?
No, we did not ask him to be here this
He
evening.
knows this is happening. I don't think we even told him.
I think he is aware.
He's aware that this was the first step of the process. We have to get your approval for us to move forward to sit down and negotiate.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of backup building inspector Kurt Sengstock as the Lenox Township building official, marrying the same one-year contract previously held by the former building official.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Sutherland, supported by Trustee Marino. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll?
Sutherland,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Rossio.
Aye.
All right, moving on to item 12, public comment.
Linda Rossio, 25589 26 Mile Road. I just need to clarify, or have this clarified. Why did the supervisor's office never mention the public hearing process about the expansion of the landfill during the public announcement part of the trustees meeting? We've heard over the past few months about the community dinner, the tree lighting, but why not this? And this is just a question. Do you take money for campaign donations from Waste Management? The representative here from Waste Management said she's a guest in our community. Maybe have her call the state and tell them they are willing to put in the traffic light and pay for it. Also, the extra garbage pickup along Gratiot. They drive to get to the landfill every day to go to work, or the days that they're working. They see the garbage. We shouldn't have to call them. And yes, they do pick it up on occasion, but I think, you know, as a good neighbor, they'd want to pick up it a little bit further north and south. Now, what about the deceased people that the police have looked for over the past few years? Every time I drive past there, I think of their families, of those two young women that recently have been looked for in the landfill. Those are things that, as our community, that we have to look at every day, that we drive past there, between the garbage, the thoughts of the deceased, and all the times that we have those trucks pull out in front of us with all those rolling stops. We shouldn't have to wait for our people to die because of this. And as our representatives here, I think you'd be a little bit more forceful, a little more understanding, and I'm just kind of disgusted right now.
Hi, my name is Nick Bianchi. I live on 37444 30 Mile Road. This is my
my first ever town hall ever. I'm very, very new to the area. I was hoping to come in a more positive environment, but kind of tense. So I've seen the social media posts and talking about the data center. The company is called WHP. They are looking for 300 acres on between 29 Mile and 30 Mile Road off of East Gratiot. I haven't signed anything, but I've been told by my neighbors that I am within that area that they're going to be calling me next. I don't understand why New Haven or Romeo can pass a 1-year moratorium, but we're going to pass a 4. I appreciate the effort, but if there's no confidence, just to protect my family, if I eventually get that phone call, I'm probably going to have to sign a public or a agreement to purchase of a 10. These contracts are 2 years with an option of 3. So even if nothing happens in the 4 months and we extend 4 months after that, those contracts will outlast that. So I don't want to be touching the property line of a data center, and I've only been here 7 months, 8 months. I've moved 22 times in my life. I'm 33 years old. I have a daughter. I have a boy on the way. I would like to make this my home. I live next to a family farm. Everybody's been there for generations. I'd like to just stay and stop moving, but I'm not sure I have confidence I'm going to make one more move in my life. So that's all I got.
Dennis Haig, 3940 County Line. Every meeting that we have, we always have the consent agenda where we go over all these different reports and we say they're approved. I've never really seen them, but could we post these online for full transparency? That would be very beneficial, and if someone would like to review them and look at them, that would be a great thing. And a lot of our documents should be posted online where it's click, click. We've got a website. Doesn't take much to make a PDF copy of something and to post it. And if you have to wait until after it's formally approved, at least we'd have a reference point from the previous meeting where we could review those documents. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I can't find them. I'd maybe have to come in and knock on the door and say, could I get a copy or put a FOIA request in it? But that's kind of a waste of time. I think, again, with full transparency, I think that would be an excellent thing for the township to be open and showing where everything's at and what's in the reports so that we all have an understanding. Maybe 99% of the people would read them, but the 1% that would, they'd be there. Thank you.
Grace Eisen, 6811 Pashock Road. It was mentioned, and I'll repeat it again, Mr. Reader sits on the Solid Waste Committee. That committee has been meeting for several months. The discussion of the expansion has been going on since prior to the first of the year. We received our tax bills with propaganda that you didn't answer my questions about. Why couldn't we have the information about this expansion and the community meetings that were being planned put in our tax bills? And I looked all over the website for the township. I went to the township supervisor's Facebook page. I even went to your personal Facebook page because somebody had told me that's where I would find it. Not being your friend and no desire to be your Facebook friend, I cannot see all of your Facebook posts, let alone how many people do not use Facebook. As a government official, I don't think Facebook is the appropriate place to put out government information. And that landfill letter should have been mailed to our homes. Why are we trying to hide it? Lastly, there's about 4 inches of snow on the sidewalk between the back parking row and the front parking row on the night of a meeting. Why can't it be shoveled?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Jessica Claus, 64480 Gratiot. I wanted to ask a couple of questions for waste facility. which I will be asking at the February 18th meeting. Has the expansion of the landfill taken into effect that there's a preschool less than a half mile away from there? As well as is Gratiot going to be widened, County Road going to be widened with this expansion? And then someone else also mentioned this too. It would be great if Pine Tree would make, some type of grant or whatnot for this traffic light, or, some more phone calls to Governor Whitmore, or fixing the roads, something should really take effect. And then also, for my opinion, with this data center, if there is any merit to it, which it seems like this is full steam ahead, in my opinion, Lenox is going to be unlivable between, the expansion of the waste with everything going on there, as well as the data center. Who's going to want to live here and live like that?
Good evening, my name is Michelle Brzwicki, 31500 Donovan Drive in Lenox. I don't get any mailing from you guys other than my tax bill, because I've got a post office box in Richmond, so that needs to be corrected. I've been a resident here for 36 years. I used to come to the meetings and got really disgusted with the board and said, to heck with that. I came back tonight because of the AI Center information. You guys need to step up and put your foot down and just say flat out, no. We've already got one closed landfill in Lenox Township that was closed by the DEQ. We've got Pine Tree Acres, who's apparently expanding now, but not really expanding, they're just making their current property more landfill. You've got a prison, going to put an AI center that's going to mess up our water. It's going to mess up all the ponds that are in almost everybody's backyard. You've got well water. There's a lot of people on the other side of the tracks, which I'm one of them, that live on well water. All of the well water gets messed up. What are they doing with the water after they get done with it? Where's the hazmat going to go? We're going to get a hazmat landfill now next too? It's ridiculous. You guys need to just put your foot down, say no, and put a light and fix Gratiot, because I won't drive Gratiot. I've lived here 36 years. I won't drive Gratiot because there's too many nails and too much trash on the road. I don't need another flat tire. I go county line. Thank you.
Yep, you're right.
My name is John Ryan. I live at 31370 32 Mile Road, and I'm here on behalf of the PDR committee to thank you for your continued support for this ongoing program. And just to clarify that the money that you've allocated, there's actually no money being transferred at this point. It's just a commitment that if another farm is preserved, like the one that was done this past week in Richmond Township, which one is in the process right now, whether it gets approval at the state level or not remains to be seen. But that money is a commitment to help offset, a commitment from each of the participating townships to offset administration fees, closing costs, things of that nature, and what have you. So I just want to thank you on behalf of the committee for that. And on another note, I'm not that well informed of, but a comment was made about the issue with the traffic on Gratiot regarding 29 Mile Road. And I would venture to guess that the amount of traffic on Gratiot is fairly consistent, but the crossroad traffic at 29 probably doesn't equal what it say at 27 when you make that comparison. But one intersection is not the same as the other. 29 Mile is an entirely different situation because of trucks leaving and leaving 29 and entering the flow of traffic on Gratiot. When every vehicle is doing 55 miles an hour at least, a truck just cannot accelerate at the same rate of speed. And I know it's impossible to work with MDOT, but maybe they need to be made aware that this is a different scenario. It is an ongoing, never-ending flow of trucks, one after another, from before sunrise to after sunset sometimes. And that is the biggest safety hazard. Thank you.
All right. Call from the board. Are you getting up for public comment?
Yeah.
Dave Cox, 34951 29 Mile Road, and I've been here for 33 years. I'm the first house off of Gratiot on 29 Mile Road, west of Gratiot. And I've been putting up with that garbage dump over there for all these years. I've been lied to by this, not your board, but boards in the past, about what they're going to do and how they're going to get rid of all that. And it was supposed to be done 5 years after I moved in. That township, that was supposed to be closed down. It never happened. Then I was asked, how tall is this thing going to actually go? And they had no answer. But the first time they told me it was always only going to go up to a certain height. So then 2 years later, they lied to me again about it and said, they don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the height. And it's just nothing but bullshit about what goes on with that landfill. They want to act like they're our nice friends in the neighborhood, but they don't do anything for us. And the fact that all this garbage comes off those tires and mud and all the shit coming down 29 and then up and down Gratiot, they have a system that they can have a flush out system where the trucks just go across it, all the water sprays up in their facility over there and cleans out the damn undercarriage of all those vehicles and the tires. Why don't we do that? So, and the other thing is, we really need a lane. Whether that landfill wants to be nice guys and show us how much they like us over here, well, let them put the damn lane up. Let them pay for the whole thing. It's ridiculous. I can't pull out. I use my pickup truck to pull out because I'm afraid I'm going to get hit by somebody. My wife's the same way. She's been had the shit scared out of her I don't know how many times. We've had enough accidents at that intersection. I don't know what it's going to take. We have to start killing more people over there. There's actually, I think, if you look it up, I think there's actually been people killed there. I know of a couple of really bad accidents over there that were caused by those trucks. I guess that's all I got to say.
Good evening, everyone. This is my first town hall, I guess you could say. The two big items, the dump and the data center, are my big things to come here for. I don't know if I'm supposed to say my name and place too. Brandon, 34880 32 Mile Road. I just want to first off give credit where credit's due. I'm impressed with the trustees here. They kind of seem like real people, real residents. I know there's a lot of people that work for Lenox Township aren't even residents, which is kind of astonishing to me. But first off, I want to make a point that all the time and money afforded here on these things tonight, and nothing's been really said or done as far as transparency, when these things are going to happen and what's going to happen during them. Use the social medias. That's how the world communicates these days. Why is there not money allowed to a third party or somebody, something to use social media? That's how everybody finds everything out, you know? Yeah, I feel like sometimes our words are just kind of futile up here. They get heard, but nobody's listening. So it's unfortunate. But as far as the dump goes, I work on the water, and sometimes I'm all the way as far down as almost Detroit, and I can see that dump from on top, above the trees, for miles and miles around, even across the Canadian border on the lake. I don't know if you guys know, but most, if not, I'd like to get some waste management lawyer statistics on this, but most of that garbage trucks that I see on Gratiot that are causing all this havoc and fueling the stoplight issue are all Canadian garbage trucks. It's not even our garbage. There's some kind of backdoor deal or something, all the millions get paid. You can't interfere with free market, I get that. But we're doing things here in the township to limit the data center businesses from happening or trying to control that. How come there's no control over the dump? And you can only do so much, I get, but it's unfortunate. But yeah, it seems like the stoplight isn't the answer, it's the trucks, the problem. So that's all I gotta say about that for now. Thanks.
All right, last call, public comment. All right, moving down, call from the board.
Yes, I'd like to make.
Turn it off.
Oh, I'd like to make a comment about the traffic light at 29 in Gratiot. I think everybody in here probably has heard of Lake's Orchard up in Armada. They have a parking lot on the north side of Armada Center Road and one on the south side. Several years ago, at their own expense, they put a traffic light in there. I know that's a county road, not a state road, but if somebody was willing to pay for it, I don't know if the state would have a different approach to it. I think that's maybe something we should check into and see if, that would be a possibility. And as the lady said, from Waste Management being a good neighbor, maybe they would like to do that for the township. Thank you.
Tip, please.
All right, anything else from the board? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:43 p.m.
Second that.
I have a motion by the chair, supported by Treasurer Sutherland. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, we are adjourned.